A 1,000 square foot roof, the size of a modest American farmhouse, collects 620 gallons of clean water for every inch of rain that falls on it. In a climate that gets 35 inches of rain a year, the average for the eastern half of the United States, that same roof catches over 21,000 gallons of water annually, free, from the sky, onto a surface every house already has. That water is cleaner than what comes out of most municipal taps. It contains no chlorine, no fluoride, no industrial runoff, no lead from corroded service lines, no pharmaceutical residue from upstream sewage treatment. It is soft. It does not stain laundry. It does not scale water heaters. It does not corrode pipes. Before 1940, this water was the primary household supply for over 40% of American homes. Every rural farmhouse, every small town residence, every cabin and cottage and homestead on the continent had a cistern, a simple buried tank, a downspout, a screen, a hand pump. Total cost in $1935, about $17 in materials. Lifespan, 100 years if built from concrete or stone. Many of those original cisterns still hold water today. Then the system was buried. Not the cisterns, the knowledge. In the span of a single generation, an entire civilization that had drawn its own water for 2 centuries was convinced that water belonged to a utility company, and that capturing the rain falling on your own roof was somehow primitive, illegal in some states, forgotten in all of them. The cistern was filled in, paved over, sealed under concrete patios. The pump handle was removed and sold for scrap. The downspout was redirected to the storm drain. The skill of building one died with the men who knew how. The American water and sewer utility industry generates over $150 billion a year. That figure is split across roughly 50,000 separate community water systems, the majority of them publicly owned, but increasingly consolidated under private operators like American Water Works, Veolia, and Aqua America. The average American household pays between $800 and $1,400 per year for municipal water and sewer service combined. In drought-prone states like California, Arizona, and Nevada, that figure crosses $2,000 annually. The water itself, the actual product, costs the utility about half a cent per gallon to produce and deliver. The rest of the bill is infrastructure, debt service, executive compensation, and what utilities politely call rate adjustments. Over a 30-year mortgage, the same length of time most Americans live in a home, that single utility bill totals between $24,000 and $42,000 for a substance that is falling out of the sky onto the roof above their heads. The household plumbing connected to that municipal supply represents another extraction. The average new home includes between $15,000 and $20,000 in connection fees, meter installation, and service line construction. Replace a service line, and the bill is $6,000 to $9,000. Most service lines installed before 1990 contain lead solder. Most homeowners do not know this until the day their water tests positive. A rainwater cistern system, sized to provide the full water needs of a 4-person household, costs between $300 and $1,500 in materials. It has no monthly bill, no connection fee, no meter, no lead service line, no quarterly rate increase, no drought surcharge, no infrastructure debt. It has a roof, a downspout, a first flush diverter, a screen tank, a pump. That is the entire system. The reason you do not have one is not because it would not work. The same system has been working in Bermuda, Australia, the Caribbean, and rural Texas for over a century without interruption. The reason you do not have one is that a $150 billion industry cannot bill you for water that fell out of the sky onto a surface you already own. In 1933, at the bottom of the Great Depression, less than half of all American homes were connected to a municipal water system. The other half drew from wells, springs, and cisterns. Roughly 18 million American households captured rainwater as part or all of their daily supply. It was not poverty. It was infrastructure. The cistern was as ordinary as the chimney. Then came centralization. In 1935, the Public Works Administration began funding municipal water and sewer projects under the New Deal. By 1945, that funding had laid the groundwork for a post-war building boom in centralized water infrastructure. Between 1946 and 1970, the percentage of American homes on municipal water rose from 53% to over 85%. The cistern was not banned, it was simply not built. New subdivisions came pre-plumbed to the city main. New building codes required service line connections in any incorporated area. The skill of building and maintaining a household cistern, passed from father to son for 200 years, evaporated in a single generation. Then the legal pressure began. In 1962, Congress passed amendments to the Federal Water Pollution Control Act that established a regulatory framework for surface water and groundwater under federal authority. Over the following decades, individual states extended that framework downward. Colorado made it illegal to capture rainwater on your own property in 1969. The law remained in force, with minor modifications, until 2016. Utah, Nevada, Washington, and Arkansas passed similar restrictions throughout the 70s and 80s. The legal theory was that rainwater belonged to downstream water rights holders. The actual effect was that millions of homeowners could not legally collect the rain falling on their own roofs, not banned outright nationally. Just restricted, regulated, and quietly removed from every residential building code written after 1965. Not mentioned in any homebuyer's guide. Not taught in any high school shop class after 1970. Not displayed in any hardware store catalog. While American homeowners were being told that their rainwater belonged to someone else, other countries kept building. In 2009, the German government mandated rainwater capture on all new commercial construction over a certain size. Australia, after the Millennium Drought, began offering rebates of up to 5,000 Australian dollars per household to install cistern systems. By 2015, over 26% of Australian households had a rainwater tank as a primary or supplementary water source. The University of Texas Department of Civil Engineering published a 2014 study calculating that a properly sized rainwater catchment system could meet between 60 and 100% of household water demand in every state in the Union, including Arizona and New Mexico. The study was peer-reviewed. It was published in the Journal of Hydrology. It was never referenced in any utility company communication, then or since. The Depression-era cistern system has 4 components. Every one of them is available at any hardware store in America. The total materials cost for a complete household system, sized to supply a family of 4 for an entire year, runs between $300 and $700 depending on tank size and pump selection. Here's exactly what each component does, how it works, and how to install it. Component 1. The catchment surface. Your roof cost $0. You already own it. Every roof in America is already a rain catchment. The only question is where the water goes after it leaves the gutters. Right now, on your house, that water is being directed into a storm drain or onto the lawn, where it joins surface runoff and flows into the nearest waterway. 620 gallons per inch of rainfall per 1,000 square feet of roof, vanishing into the ground. The capture math is simple. Multiply your roof's footprint in square feet by the inches of rain you expect in a year. Divide by 96. The result is your annual catch in gallons. A 2,000 square foot roof in a region with 30 inches of annual rainfall captures over 37,000 gallons per year. The average American household uses about 100,000 gallons. Even with conservative estimates, a single roof can supply between 30 and 100% of household demand. With water-efficient fixtures, the lower number rises sharply. Metal roofs catch the cleanest water. Asphalt shingles work but introduce trace petroleum residue, easily filtered. Cedar shakes work for non-potable use, irrigation, and toilet flushing. Tile and slate are excellent. Component 2. The conveyance and first flush diverter. Your existing gutters and downspouts already convey the water. The new component is the first flush diverter, a simple vertical pipe with a sealed bottom and a small drain hole that captures the first 10 to 20 gallons of every rainstorm. That first flush contains the dust, bird droppings, leaf debris, and pollen that accumulated on the roof between rains. After the first flush pipe fills, additional water bypasses it and flows into the storage tank. The diverter slowly drains itself between storms through the pinhole. Total materials for a first flush diverter, about $30 in PVC pipe, fittings, and a brass valve. Total assembly time, 30 minutes. This was the entire purification step in 19th century cisterns. Combined with a screened intake, it produces water clean enough for almost any household use without further treatment. Component 3. The cistern itself. This is the central component, and the one that determines the system's lifespan and cost. 3 options exist. Option A, the buried concrete cistern. This is the original Depression-era standard. A poured or precast concrete tank. buried 4 to 6 feet deep below the frost line, holding between 1,000 and 10,000 gallons. Buried storage keeps water cool, dark, and protected from algae growth. Underground temperatures stay between 50 and 60 degrees year-round. That stable temperature prevents the bacterial growth warm storage allows. A buried 2,000-gallon precast concrete septic tank, repurposed for water storage, costs between $800 and $1,500 installed. Lifespan, over 100 years. The Romans built concrete cisterns still in use after 2,000 years. Option B. The above-ground polyethylene tank. A 250 to 1,500-gallon plastic tank, food grade. Opaque to prevent algae. Cost $300 to $700. Easier to install but requires shading or insulation in cold climates. A simple wooden enclosure stuffed with straw bales handles freeze protection in any zone. Option C. The IBC tote. A 275-gallon caged plastic tank, available used from food and beverage distributors for $50 to $100 each. Connect 3 or 4 of them in parallel for a 1,000-gallon capacity for under $400 total. The cheapest functional option. Whatever the tank, 3 features matter. First, it must be opaque. Light promotes algae. Second, it must be screened at the inlet and overflow to keep mosquitoes and debris out. A simple stainless steel mesh screen, sized at 1/16 of an inch or finer, blocks every relevant insect and contaminant. Third, it must have an accessible cleanout for periodic sediment removal, every 5 to 10 years for a properly screened system. Component 4, the delivery system. 2 options here as well. Option A, gravity feed. Asterisk, if the tank sits above the point of use, water flows by gravity. A tank elevated 10 feet above a faucet produces about 4 pounds per square inch of pressure. Adequate for irrigation, toilet flushing, and outdoor washing. Cost? $0 beyond the tank elevation. Many Depression-era homes placed the cistern in the attic, allowing gravity to feed every fixture in the house without a single moving part. Option B, 12-volt or 110-volt pump. Asterisk, a small RV-style demand pump, the kind used in motorhomes and boats, costs between $80 and $150 and produces standard household pressure of 40 to 50 pounds per square inch. Run it off a small solar panel and it adds nothing to your electric bill. A standard household jet pump costs about $200 and runs off normal household electricity. Either pump draws less than 100 watts during the few minutes per day it runs. The plumbing connection is the simplest part. A single half-inch line from the tank through a pump into a dedicated branch of the household plumbing. For toilet flushing and outdoor use, no further treatment is needed. For drinking and cooking water, add a sediment filter and an ultraviolet sterilizer. The sediment filter removes anything larger than 5 microns. The ultraviolet light sterilizes any remaining bacteria or virus by destroying their DNA. Total filtration cost, about $180. Replacement filters, $15 every 6 months. The ultraviolet bulb lasts about 12 months under continuous use. For households that want a complete dual supply system, the rainwater can be plumbed to a separate tap at the kitchen sink, with the municipal supply remaining for the rest of the house. This eliminates any building code conflict and lets you transition gradually. The full system math. Asterisk, for a 4-person household with a 2,000 square foot roof in a 30-inch rainfall region, catchment, $0, first flush diverter, $30, 2,000-gallon cistern, used IBC totes, $300. Pump and plumbing, $200. Filer and ultraviolet sterilizer, $180. Total system cost, $710. One time, annual savings, between $800 and $1,400. The system pays for itself in the first year. Every year after that, the water is free, forever. Walk into any farmhouse built before 1940 in Pennsylvania, Iowa, Kentucky, Tennessee, or Vermont. Look behind the back porch. There will be a stone or concrete cistern, often still functional, sometimes abandoned but intact, holding the same water it held in 1925. The hand pump beside it may still draw, if the leathers have not dried out. Many of these systems are over 100 years old. They were built once. They have served 4 generations. In Bermuda, the law has required every home to capture its own rainwater since 1626. There is no municipal water utility on the island. 399 years of self-supply. Every roof on the island is painted lime-washed white. Sloped to a gutter, piped into a buried cistern. The system works. It has always worked. The Romans built rooftop cisterns in every villa across the empire. The Persian Qanat system, dating to 700 BC. Distributed groundwater through gravity-fed underground tunnels for over 2,500 years without electricity or pumps. Some of those tunnels still operate today, in rural Texas. The hill country has practiced rainwater harvesting continuously since German immigrants brought the practice from Bavaria in the 1840s. Hayes County, Travis County, Blanco County. Thousands of homes draw from cisterns. The state of Texas now offers tax exemptions on rainwater harvesting equipment. The technology is not new. It is not unproven. It is not theoretical. It is older than written language, older than agriculture, older than the wheel. It is, quite literally, the oldest household infrastructure system in human civilization. It worked for 4,000 years. Then a single generation of Americans was told they had to pay for what fell on their roof. And they believed it. For $700, 1 weekend of work, and a tank in your yard, you can eliminate your water bill permanently. The same water that fell on your great-grandparents' roof is falling on yours right now. The only difference is what happens after it hits the gutter. The Complete Depression-era Households Manual, including cistern sizing tables, regional rainfall maps, full materials lists, and the legal status of rainwater capture in every state, is linked in the description below. 100 formulas that replace every product and every utility bill in your home. Tomorrow, this channel will show you the $5 Depression-era filter that made any standing water drinkable, and why the bottled water industry spent the last 70 years pretending it never existed. Every product in your home once had a $0 version. They buried it. Now you know.